huge fan of this man who I will stop talking about as if he is not sitting next to me right here live on the set. You can catch him in Red Oaks, a Steven Soderbergh produced production that is now available, all of them streaming on Amazon. Please welcome to the Rich Eisen Show, Paul Reiser. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure to be here.
How are you?
I'm well. Yes, the show is available now, today. You can watch the whole thing. You'll be done by tomorrow.
Are you a binge viewer of television? Do you binge?
Yeah,
Do you binge at all, Paul?
I binge to the extent that I can stay awake. So there is a ceiling on it.
Yes.
Like two
That's
episodes.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but 10 episodes of anything is a lot in one shot.
Right.
How much could you love a thing? But yeah, it is nice. I realized the concept at this point in history, there was no such concept as I missed that show. You can't miss a show.
It never anymore.
It is always there. I miss missing.
It's on.
There's no more missing. Whatever you want, you can watch it forever.
Yeah, it's available for you whenever you want it. And Red Oaks, it's a great cast as well.
Oh my goodness!
The people that you are working with on this, how does it compare to what you've been doing?
Well, it's great. Richard Kind, my old buddy, and Jennifer Grey, and Freddie Roman, legendary comic, is in it.
Freddie Roman.
He plays sort of the old sage guy.
Is he the abbot of the Friars Club?
Yeah, he was. I think he retired.
What was he at the Friars?
He was
Mr.
the
Friars Club,
head
right?
cheese guy. Not head cheese,
right.
but the big cheese.
Right.
And he's brilliantly funny in it. And a lot of people that you're not familiar with, but you will be, who are terrific in this. And it's really nice because what they get to do when you can make, when you put out 10 shows at a time, it sort of slows down in a good way. Slows down. It's almost like more of a movie pace, and you can have these little character studies, and it's a really sweet, funny show, and it's getting some great reviews, which is really cool.
Congratulations on that. I also noticed, Paul, as you were coming out here to sit in our green room, that there's some gridlock right there with Cal and Ron Darling coming out of here, right?
I walked, there's Ron Darling, Cal Ripken, and I suddenly I felt like 7-year-old. I was like, hey, Mickey, just I felt like,
of course.
It doesn't go away.
Right?
In 1988, when did My Two Dads, my favorite moment of the whole time was Willie Mays came on. And because we wrote something that I promised, I forgot what the story, the story was my uncle had promised me for, Mickey Mantle was going to come to my birthday party or something, or promised Willie Mays, he never showed up.
Right.
He promised Willie Mays was going to come to my birthday party as a kid, and he didn't show up. But then years later, he produced Willie for my kid. And so we're all crazy, like, oh my God, it's Willie. Little known fact.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
You may know this, but this intrigued me.
Yes.
Willie wore a lovely silk shirt, embroidered. It says, not his initials, it says, say hey.
Say hey.
Come on. When you can have your own
you're referring to, so is that referring to embroidering yourself in the second person? What is that?
It's just like, that's my name. It's like, instead of a number, I say hey.
Yeah.
Those are the coolest thing.
That is, I mean, look, if you can do it, you can pull it off. If I was Cal Ripken, I would have shirts that say Iron Man on them, embroidered.
How do you know he doesn't? He didn't take off the jacket. He might. He might.
That's true.
Let's go chase him down in the parking lot.
Interestingly enough, he said he suffered some sort of fall off a bike. The Iron Man, as he was coming in here, he was banged up, but he fought through it. He interviewed like a champ. You know what I mean? He got through it.
Did he bike for like 2,000 days in a row without missing a day of biking? That's just the kind of guy he is.
He only knows one speed.
Yes.
He can only do.
I eat cornflakes 3,000 days in a row. The pressure to stop your routine is enormous.
Oh my God! I'm here with Paul Reiser on the Rich Eisen Show. Amazon's new series Red Oaks. You can get every last one of those episodes and stream it for as long as you can.
And by the way, speaking of, look at your logo here, the little running man.
Yeah.
It looks, I know what you're doing, but it looks like somebody took your wallet. And you go, hey, 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 hey.
That is one of the reason why it is I run in my suit at the NFL Scouting Combine every year, and I need to run as if somebody has taken my wallet. I need a little bit more motivation.
But there's a little bit of Mad Men. It looks like John Hamm if he was just more concerned.
Yes, and if I was more of a miserable human being like Don Draper,
yes,
that would work. But now that's the idea behind this
I like
thing, is it does look very Mad Men-ish.
No, it's very cool.
So you were in Yankee Stadium Tuesday
I was there. Did you see me?
I did not.
But, last minute, I went in to do some publicity for Red Oaks, and I went, the game, managed to get some tickets.
Right.
And it was a great game, all but for the Yankees losing pathetically. That was bad.
I mean, just 3 hits. It had to be and I was watching it, and there's A-Rod, like, there was one point, it was like two runners on, 2 guys on.
I'm going, come on, you could redeem yourself entirely.
This is
Everybody
it.
will love you forever.
Right.
Ah, no.
I know.
Okay.
This was his America's Sweetheart campaign of a season. That he could have.
It was.
It could have.
That's a tough sell. It's a
wasn't-
tough sell. It's an uphill battle.
Well, I decided to turn off any sort of disappointment in A-Rod or dislike
I have
of
no
the way
dislike.
he handled everything
Yeah.
when he started hitting the ball very well. I decided I am a crazy fan, and I fully admit that I will ignore everything that's happened.
It does make everything better suddenly. But, yeah, a hit right then would have been nice. I think it was the bottom of the sixth, would have been a good time.
I'm here with Paul Reiser on the Rich Eisen Show. When you did Mad About You, who was the favorite cameo of anybody that just you had on that show?
Oh, my
years
goodness.
of that hit show that
We
you
had
got to
that was
meet.
one of the great luxuries of that and the great treasures of that. We had all our idols. We had, you know, Mel Brooks, who certainly comes to mind, but we had and Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner and Sid Caesar. There was actually one more. I think they were consecutive weeks, and Mel was Mel was in the office, and someone said, "Sid Caesar's on the line for you." I went, I don't think since 1958 anybody has said, "Hold on, Mel, Sid's on the line." There was an urgency that I went. It was kind of historic. But we had, you know, music. We had Mark McGuire was on.
I remember Mark McGuire was on.
had,
What was that like when Mark came on the show? That
it was
at the
pretty
height
cool.
of him hitting all the home runs.
Yeah, he was cool, and he was very, very sweet and very funny. He was better at doing that than I would have been at his job.
If you were in the batter's box, you would not have performed as well as Mark did acting.
I think that's safe
on
to
Mad
say.
About You.
I think that's safe to say.
You think so?
He excelled better
I don't
out
know.
of the
When was
box.
the last time you were in a batter's
Well,
box for
that's
a Major
true.
League Baseball game,
It's
Paul?
true.
You know?
And you know what? Who's to say I couldn't get the call now?
That's right.
Maybe they just wait until I hit my peak.
You could be. It could be. You
Yeah,
never know.
I'm sitting by the phone.
I like that.
But yeah, that was a great fun. And then of course we had TV. All our legends. We had Carol O'Connor and Carol Burnett. We had Yoko Ono. No other comedy can say we had Yoko. And she was funny.
She was funny.
It was
you
great.
made Yoko funny.
You know what? We do what we can.
I see what you. But meeting Mel Brooks for me, that would be the end all be all. That would be just about it, because he is the man. He's a genius.
He's a genius, and it happened because we needed somebody to play my uncle, and we needed somebody older and funny, and we said, well, and then we realized Mel Brooks was on the same studio lot. So Helen Hunt and I walked over, unannounced. We just knocked on his door, and he was, well, okay. And we kissed the ring. I don't even mean the figurative. We literally got down, we kissed the ring. He said, all right, off your knees, both of you. It's a little pathetic.
Sure.
And he said, let me check, and maybe I can. And then he came on, and I think he did 4 or 5 episodes. It was such a treat. And there was a great moment, and the first night he was on, the first show he did, and the audience was packed, and a lot of industry people came. They never got to see Mel. And in the front row center was his wife, the late, wonderful Anne Bancroft. And she was sitting there just like a schoolgirl, just in awe, and just watching him. And everyone's going, look at that face. It was just, they were so in love. And I went over to say hello to her. I said, you having a good time? And she said, regarding her husband of 35 years, she said, I never knew he was so funny. I went, okay. So we're helping everybody here. Isn't that beautiful?
That is unbelievable.
It was a beautiful moment.
What a story.
Yeah.
What a story. Brockman, I know you want to ask him a question. Go for it.
I do. One of my favorite movies of all time is Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
That was one of your first movies early on, the height of Eddie Murphy's power. What was it like being in that movie, working with Eddie? Like, how much of it was scripted? I mean, I've read that most of the movie was kind of improv.
Yeah. I think Eddie kind of does whatever he wants to do wherever he is. But I was friends with Eddie from the comedy club, so it was very easy and natural. So we got to play but I learned a valuable lesson there. When you're with somebody just great, just stand there and it'll be funny around you. You don't have to be funny. We did I think it was in Beverly Hills Cop 2, where I just stand there. Literally, Eddie's just doing his thing and throwing lines at me. And people go, oh, you two were so funny. I went, yeah, I didn't do anything. He was making the funny, but you vaguely remember I was in the shot. So when standing next to a great, just stand there.
Yeah, it reminds me of the time where Michael Jordan scores 55 in Madison Square Garden, and he passed the ball to Bill Wennington wide open underneath to beat the Knicks, and Wennington could say that, yeah, Jordan and I combined on 57 points tonight in this big, huge win here in Madison Square Garden.
Eddie and I did very well together.
It's the same thing.
Judge Reinhold also at the height of his power then.
Say that again?
Judge Reinhold also at the height of his power
Okay,
then,
very
as
good.
well.
Yeah, the banana in the tailpipe. Paul Reiser, your upcoming dates that could be found on paulreiser.com, October 16th in Stowe, Vermont. the day later in Ridgefield, Connecticut, Palo Alto, California, October 29th.
I'm all over the place.
You are.
This is routed beautifully. Connecticut, Palo Alto.
Yeah, and then Jacksonville, Florida,
Sure.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
And you go back,
That's a direct flight.
Yeah.
With Phoenixville, Pennsylvania on November 21st. PaulReiser.com to find out about all of those.
And by the way,
dates. Yes, sir.
I think this is a good place to announce it.
Yes.
Anybody who comes to my show, I have a guarantee, a money-back guarantee. If anybody comes to one of my live performances and they're not fully satisfied, I will come back months later and take them to see somebody funnier.
Have you a deal with somebody? Who is it?
No,
Somebody
I don't.
take?
It hasn't come up.
Okay,
it hasn't come up. But I'll work it out. Yeah,
you'll spitball it.
I'll call Louis C.K. Said, look, these people were not happy in Connecticut. Can they come to see your show?
So keep your receipt. In other words,
yeah, everybody goes home happy, one way or the other.
Keep the stub. Paul Reiser. Check out Red Oaks on Amazon. @Paul Reiser on Twitter. For the television audience, we're about to show a clip and hang out with Paul for one more segment. For the radio audience, sir, I will say thank you for coming on this program.
Does the radio see us shaking hands?
They did not.
No,
but we just did that. It was we looked each other in the eye. I thought it was a confident grip on my part.
Yeah,
I don't know how you felt.
mine was a little flaccid, but you know what?
Look.
It doesn't speak. It's just a handshake.
It's okay. There's a pill for that, I think, right?
Is there?
I think there is.
And your hand is up all night.
Yeah. And then for some reason, there are people sitting in tubs and throwing footballs through tires to describe it. It's very odd. Paul Reiser is right here on the show. We're back with more to set you up for the weekend on the program.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.